Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a very special car indeed. Rare beast. This is a Honda Legend 3.5. It's covered just 69,890 miles. Finished in black with this beautiful lighter interior. It looks absolutely stunning. Car is in really lovely condition. Just going to go around the car for you. The front of the car, really good. There's no obvious great stone chips on, given the age of the car you'd expect to see a few, but they are very few and far between. Come to the near side of the car first, and it's really smooth in the panel works, no obvious indentations there at all. Alloys look really good on the car, benefits it, I'd imagine, from a fairly recent refurb, because they shouldn't be this good in all honesty. It's still a really handsome looking beast, I have to say. And you come around the back, again, all generally very good. A few light marks on the rear bumper, but nothing that a tiny little touching wouldn't sort out. And I'm trying to be critical of the car as well, by the way. Off side of the car, as with the near side, very smooth in the panels. We're looking at a car that's now my mental arithmetic's going to let me down horribly, isn't it? We're looking at sort of nearly 15 years old, goodness me, and it just still looks a very handsome looking beast, at least in my eyes. Let's come into the boot area. Massive boots on the car, beautifully finished and in absolutely fantastic condition. Come to the back of the car, lovely wide opening rear doors, beautifully finished as well. Interior is absolutely stunning, I have to say. The condition is extraordinary as well. Come to the front, passenger side, again door card all in pristine condition. Footwell is lovely and clean. The passenger seat there again looks as though it's hardly really been used. Finally come to the driver's door card, again in exquisite condition. The footwell areas again all really nice and tidy. And the driver's seat, the one that should show plenty of wear, shows virtually nothing. So inside the car now, engine as always running through this section so the dashboard can be seen illuminated. And what a wonderful dashboard it is. It looks pretty much as new, it's incredible. Sat nav, as you can see, working absolutely perfectly. Pop the car into reverse, you get the rear parking camera. It's hard to tell with the but it all works perfectly there. Up to the main dash binnacle, hopefully you can see 69,890 miles. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all, but it really is just stepping back in time in here. It's a gorgeous interior. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut keys all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a road test video, and this is for a car I've been really looking forward to doing the road test video in. It's a rare car indeed. It's Honda Legend, 3.5 litre of course, registered CF07DXB. with a mileage of just 69,882 miles. The reason we do these videos, all of them, and especially this road test section, is because we want to make sure that if anyone's online looking at any of our cars actually that we're advertising, they get to see that car in operation. Reason for it is very simple. We, like many people, have been to see a whole host of cars which have looked perfectly good in pictures and descriptions, only to get there pardon me, and find out when you drive the car it's got a fundamental issue which you'd much rather known about before setting off. So hence that's why we do it. We also do it on these very quiet country roads very close to our premises, and this actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, so hopefully then it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car, I say it right from the outset, massively biased. But that's not to say that the mechanical stuff I check, as I always do in the videos, will be checked in exactly the same way. This car has had just 3 owners from memory, and it's been serviced 16 times. I think the vast majority of those have all been done by the Honda dealers, and quite recently by Honda as well. So a very well cared for car, and it feels it immediately when you get into the vehicle. As you'd expect from any Honda, turn the key, car starts instantly and settles to completely smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car, and temperature gauge is running at a 3rd, and that's exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda vehicle, and it's been running for quite some time now. The engine is astonishing. J-Series 3.5 litre engine, renowned worldwide, is one of the great V6s. It produces just under 300 horsepower. It is civilised, it's quiet, it's refined, but by goodness me, it produces its power. And when it does so, it does it with a lovely soundtrack, which you'd expect of every Honda, albeit subdued, so put your foot down. Oh, it's just a kind of a hammering sound is the best way to describe it, but it's a wonderful, wonderful unit. It really is. But, you know, the reality is most people don't drive them like that. Driven normally, you can hardly hear it. It's so smooth, but it's got a ton of torque to push you along. It's not all at the top end, so put your foot down, the car's up and going straight away. It puts many modern power engines to shame. It really does. Engine goes through into the automatic gearbox, typical Honda box, very smooth shifting, very robust as with the engine. You have the option of going to the paddles here, sequential change on the gearbox, all working perfectly, but obviously gear ratio is chosen carefully to try and extract the best out of the car, both in terms of economy and performance, and does a very fine job indeed of that. Notwithstanding reputation, should still do the obvious checks on any automatic car, and that's to ensure that on a move the gear shifts are indeed smooth, and they are, but also notably when you're stationary and select drive or reverse, or preferably both, that when it engages it does so smoothly and without any metallic sort of clonks or groans. And again, in that respect, it's absolutely spot on. So coming to the steering and chassis of the car, this is where, you know, I have to sort of bite my tongue, because before I do that, track's dead straight, no vibrations coming through the steering wheel, no nasty clonks from the suspension, because this is a horrible section of the road. But coming back to it, if you were to believe for a second the motoring press, they would have you think that this was some sort of BMW M series competitor. It's not. It's a luxury car that happens to get from A to B very smoothly, very quietly, very reliably, but also one that absolutely eats up corners. It is brilliant, but it does it in a way that isn't kind of showy, isn't sorry, I'm completely distracted now because there's a rather nice Honda S2000 coming down the road, and I don't see too many of them, and that's lovely. Yeah, I mean, basically its design criteria isn't beat lap times. It means that on these road surfaces it's much more comfortable than most of its sporty competitors, but it has a firm enough setup to allow it to go through corners, as I said, wonderfully smoothly. You glide through them. The steering's beautifully weighted. It's not overly sharp or overly quick, but it gives you that sense of security on the road that quick steering racks don't give you. They can be very nervous, especially at higher speeds. This is just beautifully judged, and as I said, always appreciated at the time by the motoring press. But what it does also is that the motoring press are basically handed brand new cars with brand new tyres and brand new suspension, and they hurl them around because they're all petrol heads and want to sort of, you know, hang the back of that car and wonder why it transitions from understeer to oversteer. You know, it's not, no one, apart from perhaps 0.01% of people drive like that. Most people drive as I am today. You know, sometimes you're in a bit of a hurry, but sometimes you put your foot down exiting a roundabout on a bit of greasy surface, on a bit of snow and a bit of slush, a bit of ice. And when they're pirouetting, exiting stage left somewhere into a hedge, the Legend, with super handling, all-wheel drive, puts its foot down, puts its traction down and goes. It is genius, the system. It is one of the world's greatest four-wheel drive systems, and it gives the car a security on the road that virtually none of its competitors give you. And that's why I adore these cars, because in all conditions it's a technical marvel. It really is, and it gives you this very comfortable way of getting from, you know, covering vast distances. I love it. I absolutely love it. Coming back to the mechanicals again, brakes on the car, I'm just going to give them a good shove, a good solid brake pedal on the car. What you're looking for is good initial bite, which of course it's got, but no kind of pulsing or vibrations, and there are none at all, so all in fine order. Coming inside the car, I mean, first things first, build quality. I mean, it is astonishingly put together. It's 15 years old. There's not a hint of a squeak or rattle. It looks pretty much, apart from, I mean, there'll be some microscopic mark inside the car somewhere, but it's been kept beautifully, absolutely beautifully. It's incredibly quiet, offers you fantastic visibility as well, by the way. And you've got this, the colouring, and by the way, it's not going to be to everybody's taste, obviously, nor should it be. But I love it because, especially on sort of grim winter's days like today, it's warm, it's welcoming, it brightens up the interior, whereas the full black leathers, which I quite like, I much prefer these because it lifts your mood. It really does. And as I said, all put together absolutely superbly. It is, of course, incredibly highly equipped, and all. I've not pressed every single button on the car. I'm not going to pretend I have. But all the major functions we've gone through. Sat nav, big screen recessed in to minimise reflection of daylight, all working perfectly. Got this wonderful kind of centre stack system here. Looks like a mini hi-fi system, which was the design idea behind it. Again, you've got a multi-play CD, dual zone climate control system, which pumps out lovely cold air, by the way. Heated seats again, which work exactly as they should, with a couple of settings on there. All the switchgear has just a wonderful quality of actuation. It just feels so satisfying to touch every single one. It's the things you don't realise when you jump in a car that can actually grate after a while. You get in some cars, it feels clicky and plasticky, and the button moves as you touch it. That feels it's designed to work like that for a million years. It's just beautifully engineered. Dials in front, as always with Honda, very nicely displayed. Minimal information actually, which I love, because in modern cars there's just too much going on. But what you've got is a nice big speedo in front, flanked by, you know, your rev counter and your temperature and fuel gauges, and a little information pod in the middle, so you can have your full drive thing up there. You can go through, you know, various trip information. Multi-function steering wheel, again relatively minimalist by modern standards, but very highly equipped for its day. Cruise control all works absolutely perfectly. You've got obviously your stereo controls and various other functions on there as well. As I said at the start of the video, the point, you know, it is only brief, or relatively brief anyway. It's to show the car in operation, trying desperately to rein in my enthusiasm for these cars. You know, I get they're not for everybody, and I like that, because I don't want people to believe, I want people to believe the motor impressed sometimes. They got it completely wrong with this car, because the car is a stunning achievement in every single way. And those that know them, and I've got loads of customers who bought them over the years, and I've owned 2 or 3 myself, they understand it. They know exactly what they're all about. It's a very high quality kind of luxury express. I can find nothing on the car to report back. It drives absolutely beautifully. As always though, if you've got any questions, don't hesitate, please give us a call.